Hey everyone, and welcome to AMC Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm Crystal Kennedy, and this is the show where we bring you the day's biggest movie news, and of course, we're going to give you insight into what it all means. Joining me, as always, is AMC Movie News Senior Editor, Mr. John Campia.
Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the show. Looking forward to talking about the movie news.
And we also have the man behind the curtain, the guy who makes our videos look so good, Mr. Dennis Sang.
Hi, everyone.
All right, well, let's get started. It's being reported that major DC character and member of the Justice League, Flash, will make his latest live-action debut not on the big screen, but on the next season of CW's television show Arrow. Not only will he make an appearance as a recurring character on the show, but that if things go well, there are plans for a television spin-off Flash series. The series will be written by Arrow co-creators Greg Berlanti and Andrew Kreisberg, along with DC Entertainment's Jeff Johns. John, how does this news affect the chances of a Flash movie and the character's involvement in an upcoming Justice League movie?
I hate to be the killjoy here, but that apparently seems to be my lot in life. I think this bodes very poorly for the possibilities of a Flash showing up on the big screen. Now, we should bring something up here. During Comic-Con, there was that initial report. There was a report that came out that said, there's going to be a Flash film in 2016 and a Justice League film in 2017. And instantly people started writing to us to say, hey, John, now that it's been confirmed that there's going to be a Flash film, and we were very quick to point people, wait a minute, slow down. There has not been any Flash film confirmed by anybody yet. That was just a report. This did not come from Warner Brothers. And once again, really emphasizes the importance of make sure you take everything as a rumor until you hear it from the source itself, which in this case would have been Warner Brothers and DC. And now we know for a fact that there was no plans for a Flash movie in 2016, but rather looking at doing a television show. I really think this is not good news for those of us who are kind of looking forward to seeing a Flash movie, because Warner Brothers and CW have exhibited a desire to kind of create two universes. They have their television universe, they have their movie universe. And just like Smallville, that was never Superman. Smallville was Clark Kent in Smallville. It wasn't Superman, and they were very careful to keep that totally separate from our understanding of the big screen Superman. And they did those things completely differently, and I think that was wise. In the same vein, I don't think they've ever planned on giving a Stephen Amell, who stars as Oliver Queen, Arrow, in the TV show Arrow, a show you should be watching, by the way, because it's a great show. I don't think they've ever planned on using him in the movie universe. And by bringing in Flash, it makes me very suspicious that they don't have plans on using Flash in the movie universe. I don't know that for a fact, and I hope I'm wrong. It just makes me suspicious of that. It also makes it's interesting when you read this report too, that they're talking about, they did have this television series Amazon in the works that was going to be like a Smallville version of Wonder Woman, and now they're saying it's on hold. And they're saying it's on hold because the story isn't quite where they want it to be yet. But I suspect it's on hold because they want to make a movie out of Wonder Woman, and they don't want to cross those universes. Once again, this is just me speculating, so take it, I could be 1,000% wrong. That's just the way I think it's working out. Dennis, how do you see it?
Sadly, I have to agree with you, John. It does not bode well for a Flash movie, or also speculating his inclusion in Justice League in the future. You know, we talked about the 5 slots, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, and the 5th slot is kind of like, who is it going to be? Is it going to be Flash? Is it going to be Aquaman? Is it going to be someone else?
Martian Manhunter, maybe?
Yeah, I think this points to maybe them going with Aquaman instead in the Justice League movie, because why do a television series if you're going to have him in his standalone movie or in the Justice League? So I don't think Flash fans are going to be that they'll be happy that there's a television series, but I don't think they're going to be happy when he's not included in the future movies.
What do you think, Chris Lee? Do you think there's any possibility we'll see a Flash in Justice League after this news?
I actually agree with both of you. I think that DC has separated the TV universe and the movie universe. And I think that Marvel's trying to bring characters to both TV and movies, but I think you're right about DC that they're going to separate them. But the only thing that stuck out for me from both of your answers were Wonder Woman. Big surprise. I know.
All right, what's next?
Fox has released a viral video and new pictures for X-Men Days of Future Past, giving us a glimpse at the infamous Sentinels. The video is an advertisement for Trax Industries, which is the high-tech company that creates the Sentinels and is headed up by Bolivar Trask, played by Emmy Award-winning Game of Thrones actor Peter Dinklage. Dennis, what do you think of this video and the pics of the Sentinel robot design?
Oh, I love the video. I love these viral videos, especially when they have to do with like these kind of made up or fake companies, you know, in movies and in television shows and stuff like that. The one thing to note too is about these pictures and a little bit of a video glimpse of the Sentinels is that they are actually bigger than we expected. They're not quite the size that we thought they were going to be in the comic books, but at least they're much larger, because the ones that they showed at like Comic-Con and even in that short little video, they kind of have like a robot that's maybe slightly bigger than a human being. But now we see that, wow, okay, here's these cool pictures that have them at like giant size. So I think it bodes well for this movie.
Yeah, I agree. And actually, you know what? They are bigger than I thought they would be, because I really had the sense that they would just make them like human sized. That's the direction I really thought they were going to go. And I was fine with that. Now, they're still much smaller than what we see in the, you know, either the comic books or the animated series. Much smaller. Like, these aren't Jaeger size, because like a lot of times they were like in the comics, they were like Jaeger size, or size of buildings. And in a live action movie, this is a great example where just because something works on, say, a printed page or in a cartoon doesn't necessarily mean it would work in a live action, quote unquote, real world environment. And I don't think building size Sentinels, an army of them, made much sense or would have worked. I think the size they have them at is actually the sweet spot. When I look at these video trailers online, I think they got it exactly right, because they're bigger than average, but they're not gargantuan monster size. That just wouldn't have made much sense, because just sending them on patrol would have destroyed neighborhoods. So that made no sense. So I really like the way what we're seeing from them, and I like the way they seem to be approaching this. So big thumbs up for me, and I love the design of them. I think they look terrific. So let's see how they actually function and how they use them and utilize them in the movie.
I love that they're using these real videos. That Dawn of the Planet of the Apes did the same thing, where they released this video on their flu, and this one we're seeing Trask Industries. For a minute, you feel like you're watching a real commercial, and then all of a sudden, there's a giant robot.
That's exactly how I felt too. When I first saw the trailer, I'm like, oh, because I got the link like everybody else. It said, hey, we've got a viral trailer. First of all, if you have to advertise that it's a viral trailer, then it's not a viral trailer. But anyway, they said we've got this viral video, and I clicked on it, and it's so good that it fooled me.
Yes.
I was actually thinking for a second that, oh, this must be a commercial that plays before the video starts.
The pre-roll ad.
Yeah, and then you realize, nope, this is the real deal. And I was really impressed by it. I think it looks great.
Yeah.
All right, folks, listen, we've reached that part of the show for buy and sell. Here's how this works. In front of her, Chris Lee's got a bunch of other items in the world of movie news. She's going to run them down, and then Dennis and I are simply going to say whether we buy it or sell it. So, Chris Lee, what do we got?
The first two official photos have been released for David O. Russell's upcoming movie American Hustle, which stars Christian Bale, Bradley Cooper, Jeremy Renner, Amy Adams, Jennifer Lawrence, and Robert De Niro. Set in the 1970s, Bale plays Irving Rosenfeld, a con man who specializes in stolen art, who catches the attention of FBI agent Richie DiMasso, played by Bradley Cooper. John, buy or sell these two photos?
I got to tell you, I love the looks of these photos. Christian Bale looks so greasy and so sleazy. The sound of the film sounds incredible. Obviously, it is a stellar, packed cast. That's always got to get excited. So for me, it's absolutely a buy. Dennis?
Yeah, I'm definitely buying this. David O. Russell's a great director. I love the cast. I mean, that list of all the cast members it's like an all-star cast. So yeah, and the look of these pictures are great too. You know, it has that total 1970s sleazy look. So I totally buy this.
It looks amazing. Amy Adams looks a little sleazy. I kind of like seeing that for some reason. Despite not doing well in the domestic box office, rumors are going around that Pacific Rim may get a sequel. Currently, the movie has earned $85 million in the US and $140 million in foreign markets versus a near $200 million budget. A recent report from the Wrap suggests the studio executives are currently looking at the overseas box office performance of the giant robot versus giant monster movie and are waiting on its box office performance in China as well as Japan and Brazil before they decide on what's next for the potential franchise. Dennis, buy or sell the chances of Pacific Rim getting a sequel?
I sadly have to sell this. I love Pacific Rim. I've seen it 3 times already, and I'll probably watch it one more time before it goes out of theaters. But still, I mean, they want to get it close to 300 million total. That's still, I just don't see them gambling another $200 million in the hopes of getting maybe a smaller return on it. I would love for there to be a sequel, but yeah, I don't think it's going to happen.
Dennis is absolutely right. I mean, a lot of people think, and we run through this a couple times, but it's worth repeating because this is good knowledge to have. A lot of people hear, oh, they spent $210 million to make it. It's already made $220 million worldwide. That means the movie's profitable, right? No. What happens is you get that $210 million budget. And now on top of that, you got to add another 30 or 40 or 50 million dollars. Some films up to like another 90 million dollars, but let's say 40 or 50 million dollars. You have to add on top of that number for the marketing budget because that's not included in the production budget. So now you're talking about the movie costing about, let's say, $260 million to make. Now, even if the film made $300 million worldwide, that's not $300 million that goes back to the studio. About 1/3 of that total number gets taken off immediately and goes to the movie theaters, the places that actually show the movies. They keep only about 1/3 of the ticket income. So let's say Pacific Rim makes $300 million worldwide, which it probably won't do. But if it did, you got to take $100 million of that off, and that's only $200 million going back to the studio. Now you've got a movie that cost them about $260 million to make and market. And even though it made $300 million at the box office, they're still taking a loss of $60 million. I mean, it's really rough. Like I've been saying for a long time that Pacific Rim is a film that needs to make close to $400 million to become profitable. And they're going to fall well short of that even after China. So sadly, it's a total sell. I don't think they're going to roll the dice. I wish they would. Pacific Rim is awesome. I've only seen it twice in theater, but I will see it again. And it deserves to make a lot of money. But we just didn't go out and support it, and so I doubt they're going to give us another one.
Ben Stiller's latest movie, The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, has released its first trailer. The film not only stars Ben Stiller and bridesmaid Kristen Wiig, but it's also being directed by Stiller himself. The movie is a remake of a 1947 film, which was an adaptation of a story by James Thurber, and it follows a daydreamer, played by Ben Stiller, who longs to be with his coworker, played by Kristen Wiig. He regularly escapes his mundane life by fantasizing that he is experiencing adventures in more exotic locations. The movie opens in AMC theaters on December 25th. John, buy or sell this trailer?
I buy it. I thought this was a wonderful trailer. A lot of imagination. It doesn't give us the plot of the story, but yet it kind of communicates very well what the movie is about. And I think it's great. And it should be noted, I talked to Ben Stiller at CinemaCon in Las Vegas back in April. And what I didn't realize was this has been like not a lifelong, but a very long-term project, a passion project of Ben Stiller's that he's been trying to get made for like 7 or 8 years. So for me, I'm really excited about it. I can't wait to see it. So for me, it's a buy.
It's also a buy for me. We actually saw the trailer for the first time, at least I did. We went to go watch Wolverine, and
right.
I think that the tone of it has this kind of eternal sunshine of the spotless mind, stranger than fiction feel to it, and I love the song that they used for it as well. That song's been kind of stuck in my head since we've seen the trailer, so I'm all for this.
I love Kristen Wiig. I feel like every project she does is just amazing. So I think that this will be just another amazing project for both of them to be in.
Kristen Wiig's turning into one of these triple threats. I mean, she can do anything. I mean, obviously she can do comedy. I'm really excited to see her in something like this. I've seen her do a little bit of dramatic stuff, and she's really good. She's just all around turning in one of my favorites.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought?
Director Spike Lee's remake of Oldboy had been pushed back from its original release date of October 11th to October 25th. Now the movie has been pushed back again to November 27th. the movie, which is a remake of the hit Korean film from director Park Chan-wook, is about a man played in the version by Josh Brolin who has been kidnapped for mysterious reasons and is released 20 years later with no explanation. Dennis, buy or sell the shuffling of the release date for Oldboy?
I have to sell this. I mean, I don't know what they're thinking because I don't think this movie is going to be this huge hit that they think it's going to be, and I think they're trying to like position it against other movies, trying to like, I don't know, top those and become the number one box office. But I just don't see it. I mean, I'm not saying the movie's not going to be good because the original was awesome, but I think, yeah, I just think they're having a little too high expectations for this.
Yeah, I don't know what they're thinking moving this. Like you've had this film now for ages. We're now 3 months away from when it was supposed to come out, and now you decide that the timing's wrong? I mean, I just like, I can understand, hey, you know what, we're just in production of the film now. The movie's still 12 months away. We're moving the release dates to fit. Okay, that's cool. But now the film's in the can, you're running trailers and you change it now. Now, granted, it's not that big of a move. It's only 1 month. But I got to tell you, I'm partially just upset by this move because even though I have not been looking forward to this movie, the trailer made me excited. And I'm actually now excited for this Oldboy film, and I want to see it. And now I'm really ticked off that they've moved it another month. I just don't see the rationale. So I got to sell it.
I feel like whenever they move a release date, it's a really bad sign. And I also think it's super hard to remake Korean films. I think a lot gets lost in translation. I worked on a movie where they tried to do that, and it was kind of a disaster. So that makes me nervous. But the trailer, like you said, was amazing. So high hopes.
High hopes. Okay, folks, well, we've reached that part of the show for Mailbag. Listen, if you've got a topic or a question you would like us to address on the show, email us anytime at amcmovietalk@gmail.com. We get a lot of email from you guys, so we get through as many as we can. Right now, Chrisley's got a few messages pulled out of the mailbag. So, Chrisley, what do we got?
Chris Mueller writes, "Hey guys, love the show. All of you are super awesome. I was wondering, who do you guys think will be the main villain in Star Wars Episode 7? In my opinion, we don't really need the Sith back as the villains in Episode 7 and even in this new trilogy. What are your thoughts?"
You know what? I'm going to differ with you on that, Chris. I think we do need the Sith back, and we need the Sith back for a couple of reasons. One of the things we love so much, there's many things we love about Star Wars, but at the heart of it, we love the Jedi. And if they do, and we don't know this is what they're doing, but if they do go with, the descendants of Han and Leia and their kids, the twins that become Jedi, and Luke is establishing the Jedi Order again, then for there to be a real viable threat, I think it needs to be Sith. And one of the other things that we all love about Star Wars movies is the lightsaber fights. We all look forward to, will the lightsaber fights in this one equal the last one? And that's kind of one of the big charges. So, I mean, it's not necessary that they will use Sith, but I personally really hope that they do. I think it's a really good device. That's just my opinion. Dennis, what do you think?
Yeah, that's a good point about the lightsaber battles. I didn't even think of that. But yeah, like that was like one of the few shining points of the prequels. They had some cool lightsaber battles. But as far as the Sith is concerned, I'm like you. I would prefer that they do keep with the Sith. I mean, they are, the Jedi's main enemy. They have a great lore behind them. I don't know if any of you guys have played the video game Knights of the Old Republic, but they had a cool back history and lore where you kind of like learn more about the Sith and how they became to be. And I just feel like they are the villain, They are the main villain. I think they should be in the next trilogy.
Yeah, I mean, look, there are lots of different villains you can use in the Star Wars universe. You can go a political route. You can do an alien invasion route, like a number of the extended universe books went with I think the way you pronounce it, Yuzhan Vong, where like invade. You can do that type of thing. But still, when it comes down to it, I want to see at the end of the film 1 or 2 epic Jedis fighting 1 or 2 badass Sith, and that's really what I want to see.
Is it wrong that I can't even concentrate on who the villain should be because I'm just so nervous that it's going to be as bad as a prequel?
Oh, no, you and me both, sister. I mean,
all I think of.
It's not going to be as bad.
I mean, I did get an email or a comment from somebody saying, "John, how can you be so excited for the new Star Wars when the last one sucks so bad?" And I'm like, well, for a couple reasons. One, it's Star Wars, so I'm always going to be the eternal optimist. But number 2 is I really do like the job JJ did on the 2 Star Trek films. So I'm excited with, like, a lot of people describe the new Star Trek films as Star Wars versions of Star Trek, or Star Trek versions of Star Wars. And I think that's true. Also, I've got a lot of faith in Disney and what they've done with Marvel since they took it over, and the way they kind of let that thrive, and the way they've guided it. I think it's terrific what they've done there. So I have hope. It doesn't mean it won't suck, but I have hope that it's going to be awesome.
All right. Bryden Pottinger writes, "Hi AMC, great show. My question is, in the upcoming Man of Steel 2 movie, I'm thrilled to see that Batman and Superman will be going up against each other, but we all know Batman has won in the comics. But in the movie universe, I don't see a mortal going up against an immortal. Well, wouldn't it be so simply for Superman to quickly go up behind Batman and kill him like Zod?"
You raise a completely legitimate and fair point, my friend. Like, this is once again a great example of things that work in the comic book and things that work in a cartoon won't necessarily work in the real world, because we all know in a real world scenario, and everybody likes talking about, oh no, John, Batman is so smart. He's so smart. That'll even the scales. Look, now, Batman is really, really intelligent, but he's still a human being, and he still has human level intelligence. And it ain't going to overcome Superman. Like, in a fight between Batman and Superman, it's Superman does this and Batman dies. That's just the way it would work. So we've talked about this on the show before about they've got to come up with a device, some kind of plot device, whether it's kryptonite or whether it's something else. They need to come up with some kind of elemental device that balances the playing field between Batman and Superman. Now, clearly, they're not going to fight to the death, and by the end of that film, I'm sure they're going to be allies, even if they're uneasy allies. But they got to come up with something, because it doesn't matter how much you try to plead the case. No, John, you just don't understand how smart Batman is. No, I understand how smart Batman is. But Clark Kent is also from an advanced, superior alien intelligence as well. He ain't no slouch when it comes to intelligence either, and he's basically a god. So having these guys fight is going to be tricky, and that's going to be the biggest, I think, the two big things in developing this new Superman movie with Batman. One is the casting of how you're going to cast Batman, but the other one is, can you come up with a plausible device that makes us as audiences in a live action film go, yeah, this is going to be a fair fight. If you can come up with that, more power to you, but that's going to be the hard part. Dennis, how do you see it?
Yeah, I mean, they have to use kryptonite. I mean, that's the thing, the equalizer. That's what's going to make Superman weak enough where Batman can fight him. So I think it's going to be a conjunction of kryptonite plus Batman with some sort of armored suit that will also help him fight. I think the first time that Batman encounters Superman in the movie, I'm speculating here, of course, is going to be at Batman, Bruce Wayne's, his planning. He's going to plan to meet with Superman, and he's going to have everything ready. And so at that point, then they're going to duke it out. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, just because Batman's not in this is in the Superman movie doesn't mean they're going to fight. They're going to fight. I mean, look at Avengers. We saw them before they teamed up. They had to fight because we all wanted to see it.
Yeah.
Who didn't want to see Thor fight Hulk? I mean, come on. So you're gonna see Batman versus Superman. If they don't do that, it's an opportunity wasted, in my opinion. So I think they're gonna level the playing field with kryptonite and something else. But I'm really looking forward to it.
And the other thing to point out too here is, of course, for those people who still insist, no, they're not going to fight in the movie. Look, there's a reason I think that Zack Snyder used that passage from The Dark Knight Returns, the comic book that, of course, is what we're talking about, where the passage that Bruce Wayne says as he's beating the crap out of Superman. There's a reason he used that passage to announce. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to follow the storyline of The Dark Knight Returns. Not at all. We know they're not, as a matter of fact. But between that and the press release that the Warner Brothers agent showed me that said, in 2015, the two most popular superheroes of all time face off. I mean, so it's obvious they're going to fight. And Dennis, you make a great point about the whole Marvel thing. Not only did they have them fight once, they had them fight twice. Once on the ground when they first all met, and then once up in the helicarrier. So they've had them fight because that's what we want to see. And I'm going to be shocked, absolutely shocked, if they don't give that to us. All right, folks.
I get giddy.
Well, yeah.
I get giddy thinking about Batman and Superman fighting. It's crazy.
Oh, me too. I get giddy. I completely get giddy.
Yep.
Well, listen, folks, we've reached the limit of our time. Thanks so much for joining us. Listen, while I've got you, before you do anything else, take a second and click that subscribe button. Become a subscriber to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel. It'll keep you up to date on everything going on in the world of movie news and, of course, our daily AMC Movie Talk show and our weekend AMC Mailbag show. Make sure you follow us on Twitter. Make sure you like us on Facebook. And listen, if you want an audio-only version of this episode, look in the description of this video, and you'll find links to our iTunes and our Stitcher Radio. As always, I want to thank our very lovely host, Miss Chris Lee Kennedy. Chris Lee, where can people find you online?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Chris Lee, and thanks for all the tweets. I love it.
And, of course, the one, the only Mr. Dennis Zen. Dennis, where can people find you online?
You guys can find me on Twitter. That's at ThinkHero, and you can find me on Facebook with just my name, Dennis Den.
And thank you most of all to you guys. The most important part of the show is certainly not what we have to say, it's what you have to say. Make sure you jump on down to the comments section of this video and leave your thoughts on any or all of the topics that we discussed here today. So thanks a lot for joining us, guys. Until next time, my name's John Campea for AMC Movie News, and until then, bye-bye.